solo un poco. Soy Emilia Perez, una mujer mexicana, una mujer como las demás.
Hello and welcome to Arts 24. We're kicking off the show with movie news as the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences have announced their nominations ahead of the Oscars on March the 2nd. And the frontrunner, named in 13 different categories, is French film Emilia Perez. It's up against features like The Brutalist, Conclave and A Complete Unknown for the Best Picture prize, as well as fellow French filmmaker Coralie Farja for her body horror The Substance. Well, since its premiere at the Cannes Film Festival last year, Emilia Perez has been celebrated at various international events. But director Jacques Audiard has also come under fire in Mexico for his depiction of the world of drug cartels and the relative absence of Mexican actors in his film. Audiard has responded to some of those criticisms. Here's more from him.
It was complicated, sometimes tense. There's a nationalism, a Mexican identity, a very strong claim. I understand that, but let them see the film. You know, a film isn't about answers, it's about questions. So they have to be more or less well put, and then we'll see about the answers. But the questions have to be good ones. Are the questions right? Are they timely? I tend to think so.
Indeed, Emilia Perez has been racking up plenty of prizes in the run-up to the Oscars. Jacques Audiard's musical won 4 Golden Globes, including the award for Best Song. That winning track, El Mal, was composed by 2 French musicians, Camille and Clément Ducol. And our correspondents in Los Angeles have been speaking to them as they prepare for the big night.
Papa, 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 papa.
Behind the mesmerizing tunes of Emilia Perez is the work of singer Camille and her partner, composer Clément Ducol. The couple worked on the film for 4 years. It is the story of a transgender Mexican cartel boss brought to life by director Jacques Audiard, who asked them to create the soundtrack.
At the beginning, we were working with a 20-page synopsis. For us, it was simple. There were moments where we'd say, oh, this part inspires us. Then we'd lock ourselves in the studio, work on it, and create a song. There was this kind of joy sometimes when Jacques came to listen, because in just 3 minutes, we could narrate what amounted to 15 pages of the script.
The biggest challenge, capturing the essence of Mexico and its culture.
I think one of the reasons I wanted to dive into this project is because it's in Spanish. I love languages and I thought, wow, writing songs in Spanish, being able to immerse myself in such an incredible language.
It's a challenge they've met, already earning the couple a Golden Globe for Best Original Song. But to snag the ultimate prize, an Oscar, means a grueling campaign filled with red carpets. Like the night the entire team joined Jacques Audiard in Los Angeles to showcase the film.
There's a real identity to what we've created. It's not your typical American musical. You can see the seams, we embrace the imperfections, the vulnerabilities, and I think that's something we've really highlighted.
The approach seems to be winning over Hollywood, but the film's stars are staying cautious.
I don't want to jinx anything, but I also just feel like, again, we're happy that people are even talking about that. It's very nice.
The final verdict will come on March 2nd at the 97th Academy Awards.
Well, back here in Paris, we're taking a look at a group show now that shines a light on the contemporary art scene coming out of China. The work of 21 Chinese artists is currently on show at the Pompidou Center. Renaud Lefort, Clémence Delfort and Jennifer Ben-Brahim went to find out more about how this new generation is overcoming challenges when it comes to freedom of expression.
A giant black spider, under the watchful eye of Big Brother, a traditional silkscreen painting, and a supernatural video game. These works show that China's contemporary art market is alive and well, and open to the outside world. Yao Qinmei is one of 21 artists on show at the Pompidou Center in Paris. France is one of her biggest sources of inspiration, including French soap operas from the 1990s.
I joined a French language class just so that I could sing this song.
She's lived in France since 2007, and her works focus on the relationship between images and their transmission.
This piece is called Fence Scene Landscape Fight. I decided to replace the sword with a selfie stick mounted with an iPhone. I used 3 cameras to film the fight. I wanted to see how we observe the world through these smartphones. In French, saying toucher means we have won a point in the match, but it can also mean to touch someone through our work, how we touch one another through the use of our phones.
Most of the Chinese artists on show at the Pompidou Center were born between the late 1970s and the early 1990s, when the country experienced an economic boom.
In just a few decades, we've seen China integrate very quickly into this globalized world of contemporary art. More and more museums and galleries have opened up in China. An ecosystem has started to form, enabling these artists to show their work, but of course, within the limits of free speech in the country.
It's no surprise that there are no direct portraits of China's leader, Xi Jinping, in this exhibition. But what we do see is how these artists have cleverly bypassed censorship to talk about some taboo topics. A man lying down on a bed, representing China's disillusioned youth. Xu Xiaofei's dreamlike work also references his family's painful past.
His grandfather was a diplomat who worked in Russia during the Stalin era and whose career came to an abrupt end in the 1960s due to his Trotskyist past. This story is at the heart of the piece, with the central character being a reference to Leon Trotsky.
There seems to be a public appetite for Chinese art, 20 years on from the first ever exhibition in Paris of works from the Asian country.
I wanted to see some Chinese contemporary art, as I know very little about it.
I was most intrigued by the poster for the exhibition. It's a real blend of sci-fi and manga.
It's like entering another dimension.
The exhibition gives a rare peep behind the curtains of life in contemporary China and its new generation of artists.
Staying here in the French capital, it's Fashion Week once again, with the menswear shows well underway. Things got a suitably glamorous start at the Louvre this week, as Pharrell Williams presented a collection entitled Remember the Future for Louis Vuitton menswear. Mostly composed of sober autumnal colours, there were shots of powder pink among the outfits, and the stars were out in force to scrutinise those ensembles, with actors Idris Elba, Bradley Cooper, Omar Sy and Pio Marmai spotted in the audience. Well, next to one of fashion's most iconic duos, Dolce and Gabbana. The work of the Italian designers is at the centre of a new exhibition at the Grand Palais here in Paris. Entitled From the Heart to the Hand, it's a celebration of the deeply Italian themes which inform their creations. Taking in more than 200 outfits and 300 accessories, the collection also includes Murano glass objects, Baroque robes, and examples of regional craftsmanship, all of them expressing the Dolce Vita style that the house has made their own. Here's more from the curator.
The inspiration for Dolce & Gabbana is Italy. There are other sources, of course, but it's the main one. It's a constant tribute to the art, culture and history of Italy, and its richness over the centuries. The dresses tell this story, and in the exhibition, they are immersed in a setting that is not just a setting, but something that explains the sources of inspiration.
Also at the Grand Palais, artwork from Japanese artist Shiharu Shiota, best known for her monumental installations made up of delicate woolen threads. This retrospective of her work is called The Soul Trembles and includes sculptures, photography, drawings and videos. Plunging visitors into her dreamlike world, this is the largest exhibition of Shiota's work to be staged in Europe. We'll leave you with a peek inside that show. Otherwise, do check in with us next time here on Arts 24 for more arts and culture. There's more news coming up just after this.